Okay, so how are you feeling? I am touching base because we have had one hell of a week. I have a question for you first, which is how do you feel? How has your week been? How are you feeling today? There has been so much going on, so I'm here to basically do a check in. So, when I say there's been a lot going on, we've had things like all planets going direct as of Monday. We came out of a period of all kinds of planets in retrograde. And so now I'm speaking with folks and getting a pretty good general consensus that a lot of us have had a kind of a wonky week. So let's talk just a little bit about that. And I wanted to see if I can give you some context and a little bit of a framework around why you might be feeling the way you're feeling and kind of where it's all coming from, what it might mean, a bit of an update, so to speak. So I made some notes here to make sure that I don't forget some of the things I really do want to share with you. So, first thing is that we had Mercury and Mars and Uranus that all were in retrograde. And what these planets represent is the mind, the higher mind, the body. And so we were a lot of intentional thinking or subconscious thinking and just a lot of feeling like going inward, things that the mind was pulling us into. The body was making us think about things and bringing our attention inward. And also just in terms of connection, like, who am I? What am I doing? What's my direction? All of this kind of stuff was going in. And what it also means is we were very busy purging. So when there's a retrograde period like that, it brings stuff up, not to mention all the other um, cosmic alignments that were taking place with the moon and other planets that were in play. This has been a really big period over the last 2 weeks, especially where we have been busy doing deep purges internally, mind, body, higher mind from like a spiritual perspective. And there's still more to do. So we're not really out of the woods yet, but it's activating a lot in us. And there's this feeling of momentum. So part of what this is bringing forward for a lot of people is wanting to get things done now, which I think we talked a little bit about before, and wanting to get cleaner in terms of your diet, in terms of the things that you're consuming, that you are exposing yourself to, maybe even in media, right? Watching the news or not watching the news, reading something that is entertaining and humorous and light as opposed to going into some of the heavier stuff. If you're eating like me, I'm still juicing. Like my own experience of this has been that my body has just wanted things so light. So I'm still doing it. Am I on a cleanse? I have no idea. I wouldn't call it a cleanse. I'm just calling it I'm in a phase of really eating lighter. So most of my meals are coming in the form of fresh juice throughout the day. Still doing it. We'll see how long. It's also drawing people to want to strengthen the body. Maybe you've been feeling like you want to do a little bit of toning. You feel the energy coming forward and you have energy for it. Amazing. Do what you're feeling called to do when it comes to the body, especially if you're wanting to avoid things. Listen to that. And then there's also been stuff that's been coming up, purging from the mind. And here we're talking about ego programs, things that are causing us to behave in certain ways, say certain things. Have you found yourself snapping a little or having your mind run and loop because someone didn't message you back or because you didn't get the response you thought you were going to get when you said something to someone? Be aware of that. That's the kind of thing that the ego loves. And this is the kind of purging that's coming up too, specifically around things that they're repeating from the past, things that maybe you have dealt with before, or maybe you haven't. Again, there's still going to be more of that. And you may find it showing up in the physical body as well, right? Because what's just happened is all three of those same planets have just gone direct as of Monday. And so now there's more movement around all of that stuff. And so things in the body are coming to the surface as well. old symptoms, things like this. So if you're noticing stuff in the body, and I just had a conversation earlier today with a couple of girls about this on the Eden Codes call, and it was all about that, like noticing symptoms coming up in the body. And the old way of thinking of them might have been, oh my God, what is this? Should I be worried? Should I be going into the doctor? Not to say don't do that, because sometimes it's really important to go in and see somebody about some things. But also at this time, when we've just gone through a major kind of reorganizing within our systems, mentally, energetically, as well as physically, because the body's affected by the energies and the thoughts that we think, the body can exhibit almost like a shadow or an echo of old symptoms. And when that happens, use your intuition, use your best judgment, your own inner guidance in that moment, and see if it's something where you really do need to go in and see someone, or is it something that you can wait 12 hours, you can wait 24 hours and see. And if the symptom disappears, it could be one of those sort of shadow symptoms that are appearing just to kind of work its way out of the body, out of the tissue, and then it finally be gone. Okay. What else here? Okay, so our souls have us in what I call preparation mode. So 2023 is going to be a monumental year in terms of the things that we are going to want to create, and physically, but also in the way of experiences for ourselves. And so we're in this massive phase of really purifying, but in many ways. And the souls are involved in this, and our higher aspects are involved in this, because it's not just what's happening within us, it's also what's happening, you could say, above us and below us. So we went through, the last week has been intense with severe geomagnetic storm activity, which is, the sun emitting plasma that is hitting the earth and all of our inhabitants here, the animal kingdom, as well as us humans on the planet. So we've been bombarded with a lot of um, plasmic activity. And this kind of material, you could say, which is like the creation material in the universe, it has strong implications on our physicality. And so that has been playing, and that has been stirring things up, because it's a very high frequency material. And when it comes into contact with things like our own being, physical bodies, that is maybe vibrating at a lower frequency, it does tend to, it's like bringing stuff up. It's like when you skim fat off of soup once it's been cooled. It's like this plasma kind of goes into the body, stirs things up so they can come up to the surface, so they can be skimmed off. And that's kind of like the thought patterns that, like, why am I responding like that? Why am I feeling bad about that? Why am I suddenly feeling guilty, or whatever the case may be for yourself? A lot of that's been happening now too, because we've got a lot of high frequencies coming in from the cosmos. Then at the same time, several days now, I've been watching the Schumann graphs, and we have been experiencing higher than normal Schumann activity, Schumann resonance activity, which means it's more close to home. It's not coming from the cosmos. This is a frequencies and emanations that are coming from the Earth's ionosphere. And so we're pretty much bathing in it all the time. And so we're getting it from above and below, right? This higher frequency that is like we're being kind of fried in the middle, which is super great from a soul perspective if you're wanting to upgrade your human counterparts, because everything is kind of like, it's like putting higher voltage through the body. So everything is coming up. Things are coming up to be observed, to be noticed, and then to be let go of. So if you're noticing feelings coming up, thoughts coming up, and you don't like them, be aware, have the awareness, and also let it move through you. This is part of what the body is designed to do, right? It's designed to transmute. And there's a lot that we can do if you're part of the Awakening Eden program or the Eden codes, or you've been working with the one shift method, then you know that our bodies are designed to work with these frequencies of thought and emotion and all of it, and transmute it so that we can be free from these things, that our templates and blueprints can be cleared. So know that you don't have to always fight it. It can be, in some cases, as simple as just relaxing and let this move through your system. This is often a really good rule of thumb for so many things, that fighting and pushing and trying to force and trying to control, is going to do more harm than good, unless, of course, it has to do with the mind. Controlling the mind is probably the one thing you do want to control. Things outside of ourselves, not so much, especially when it has to do with other people. So take that as its own little piece of advice or wisdom. Let's see here. Okay, and what these solar blasts from the sun, the plasma, as well as Schumann, but particularly the plasma from the sun, it really does impact the pituitary gland, which is like the master gland for many different functions, but one of the functions is sleep. So, what you may have noticed is that the last week or so, you've been not sleeping the same. I know for myself, I have been sleeping longer. Usually, I'm good with like 6, even 5.5 hours of sleep, and I've been sleeping for 7.5, 8 hours, which normally I just don't do that. And dream time, a lot of dreams. Who's been having a lot of dreams lately? Yeah. Most people I speak to are having a tremendous number of dreams. And there's a lot that's going on in dream time. Excuse me, some things we are playing out where we don't have time in the physical realm here to orchestrate with different people and different situations and different elements, whether it's animals, homes, buildings, locations. It's a lot to orchestrate something at the earth human level, this incarnated level. But in dream time, we're playing in a different dimension. So anything is possible very quickly. You can pull in all the players you need. Anything you need to orchestrate a scene, you can. And so we do that in dream time as well. And so if you've been having longer sleeps or if you've been having really active dreams, my partner and I have been just having all kinds of dreams. And you may find as well that you are receiving information. I know for myself, I get a lot of downloads in sleep, but you may be receiving more than you normally do. And I know I've noticed that for myself. In fact, I got this morning, I got the whole download for what I'm being asked to share for you today, and that I'm going to be doing this on a regular basis. So we'll see, at least for a while. You may see me doing these more often. If you like this, please subscribe if you're seeing this on YouTube, because apparently I'll be doing this a little more regularly. And if you are here on any of the other social channels, drop me a line. Let me know if you like this material, if you're enjoying it, follow me, whatever you need to do to get notifications. But that's how it can come through. It can come through in a complete download. And so the dream space is being used for many things. So it makes sense in one hand that we're sleeping longer because we are doing more, right? We're doing more things in our sleep. Also, we are regenerating, we're repairing, we are rebalancing and restructuring our system after probably the better part of a month, at least 3 weeks, where we were going through a lot of purge, a lot of clearing out of things coming up, things being released, letting go, a lot of inner work, a lot of kind of being drawn inward and thinking about things. And so now, whenever we go through like a retrograde period like that, it's actually a period of a lot of upgrade. It's not the negatively coined experience that it has been for such a long time. After 2020, that was it. It now became a time of major, major upgrades. So, what do you do when you've been upgraded, right? If you're a computer, what do? You restart the machine. Every time you get like a software upgrade, you restart. Same thing with your phone, right? You restart your phone because the system needs to recalibrate to the new software. Very much the same with us. So if you are feeling like you need rest, you're feeling called to take it easy, slow down, do it. Your system is asking for what it needs. It's an intelligent system, a lot more intelligent than you at the mental level. So we need to learn to listen to that. And if you are getting rest, good for you. Enjoy it. Know that you are really supporting your system when you do this. What else do I want to share here? Okay, so you may be feeling from this energy that you also need less sleep. My partner and I have been noticing this all week. We've been staying up until like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then getting up at like 7 or 8 o'clock. And so we're staying up so much later, especially when there's high Schumann activity, the resonance from the earth field, when that is at a peak, it's very energizing. The solar plasma, It can be energizing, it can drag you down. It's varied really in the experience that we'll have with it. But the Schumann resonance is kind of a little more predictable. And so we have had 2 days of this now. So if you have been feeling like wired a bit, then this is probably part of it, part of why. And it's also, now this is going beyond the energies. This is more kind of where we are at our soul journey right now. And definitely the cosmic alignments are having a lot to do with this. But coming out of what we just came out of this whole bit of January, there is this feeling of momentum. Momentum is building and feeling pulled towards the things that we really want to do. I'm talking about things like your passions, your hobbies, your curiosities, the things that are fun for you. And so if you're feeling that pull, do it. For me, what that's looked like, many different things, but out of the blue, yesterday, for example, I spent the first 45 minutes of my morning. As soon as I woke up and opened my eyes, I make it out to the kitchen and I suddenly said, you know what? I'm just doing it. I've had these beautiful little orchids that have been suffering. And ever since we came to this house, the all my orchids, which did so well everywhere else, did not do well here. And so many of them are suffering now. So I'm like, that's it. I'm going to sit down and figure out what this is. And so I spent time, I went and I found a YouTube video to help me. And then I had the YouTube video going and I started dismantling my plants. I found the problem. I fixed it. I repotted them. And then they're back on the shelf. And I'm like, that felt so good. So tying up loose ends. Passions, that's a passion of mine. Like I love growing. You've probably seen my stories and some of my posts is like I love growing. And so plants, it's a passion, right? And then learning something new, learning how to fix the plants. All of these things are themes that we're going through now. And so don't deny yourself them. It doesn't have to take forever. Like I took 45 minutes, right? It could have been on a lunch hour, it could have been after work. Whatever it is, take the moments that you need and allow yourself to explore these things because we need to. We're being called up to a new level of our own human experience. And if we try to ignore these callings, which can be really simple, like really, you're not being called to go and become the president of the United States. You may be just being called to clean your garage or play with the bedazzled kit that you've had for your kids. Whatever it is, pay attention to it. There is something in there and it will make you feel more fulfilled. It'll make you feel more satisfied and make you feel more like yourself because that's where this stuff is coming from. Do you guys get that? It's coming from inside of you, but from the real you, not the mind, the ego, mental structure that's telling you, oh, you shouldn't do this. You've got more important things to do. I can't believe you're going to spend this time doing this when you could be, you know, shoveling the driveway. You could be doing your homework. There's a lot of things we could do, but we're not here to just do all the things we could do. We're here to do the things that we are called to do, even if they feel small. Okay. So I hope that helps. Oops, let me see. I think I'm almost done with what I wanted to share. That's pretty much it. We're in a period now, though, as of Monday, when all the planets go direct. Last we were talking, I think it was last Friday, and they were about to go direct. So now you're going to start to feel this forward momentum, right? And just take care because you're moving into a space of faster and faster manifestation time. So that the manifestation period between thought and actually seeing it manifest and be in your physical space has been shortened. And we were talking today on the Eden Codes call that yeah, you got to be really aware of what you are focusing your attention on because things come in so quickly. And not just that, that depending on where you are in your journey and where you are resonating at frequentially, the things that come in, there's going to be a lot of good choices. So it's no longer, oh, it'll be easy to know because I'll just pick the thing that is the good choice. You know, I've got two choices now, and one's definitely not something I want. And the other one's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm really all about that. I'm going to do this. Not anymore. Now it's this opportunity comes in. Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah. And then this opportunity comes in. Wow, that sounds good too. And then this opportunity comes in. And you're like, fuck, they all sound good. Damn, now what? This is the life that we're starting to step into, where all options sound relatively good. Now you got to get really good at discerning what aligned for you is and what comes up for you as you are contemplating the different options, right? Opportunities to refine not just your discernment, but refine the blueprint that you are actively living within by streamlining, getting that programming out of the way, getting the belief systems and the old conditioning out of the way. And it takes some focused effort. If that's something that you do want help with, let me know, send me a private message. I do have a program that is coming up very soon. I can put you on the wait list for that. We dive into all things creation and about clearing up the blueprint that you perhaps are living with right now. There's a lot we can do to change that, and it can be fun in the process. But we really do have to focus our attention. This is the bottom line. And if you don't, and you choose, like, oh, I'm just going to flow through life, I'll just flow with this, flow with that. I've been there, and flowing is important, except when it comes to discernment. So that's the last piece I want to leave with you. So be intentional, you could say. Intentional is not the right word. It's overused and it's misused, in my opinion. So I'm going to change that. Be conscious, be aware of the things that are coming into your space. But before that, preempt it and become super aware at what you are thinking, what you are desiring, what you're asking for, as well as the things that you are saying you don't want. I do not prefer that. I do not like that. I don't want that, because you're asking the same way. And so we're bringing in all of that, and you'll see what starts showing up in your physical space. If you're having challenging experiences in your relationship, or you're seeing things in your work life that aren't perhaps materializing the way you want, you'll start to see the signs of it. And it always is going to trace you back into the mind, what's going on in the mind, because we create our whole reality through the mind. It's not just us. This is a universal principle, right? Anyway, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being who you are, for being excited and being passionate and really wanting to level up and take the opportunities that are being presented to you, and wanting to get better at discerning, and wanting to be able to ride the wave of momentum that's presenting, because this is a time when we came to ride the wave. It's here. And we've got a few months to, like I said before, to kind of get comfortable and get our sea legs, you say. And we're just at the beginning. So I wanted to drop this note in here to give you a little bit of insight into what you may be feeling this past week, and a bit of a heads up as to how to ride through the weekend. There's going to be more that takes place, but hopefully this has given you a bit of an edge. And just remember to take it easy and be aware, be conscious of what you're thinking. And if you really want to take it a step further, start to write down, just write on a piece of paper, the things that you're noticing about yourself. I've been doing that this week. I'm like, okay, I'm noticing I'm doing this. I'm going to write it down. It's a way that we'll capture, we'll take it out of the mind. It won't get lost in thoughts that fleet and memories that just come and go. You've written it down, and then it's something that you can work on later, whether it's a tool that you have or an exercise you like to do, or maybe down the road you end up working with myself or with us and you doing it through the program. But either way, capture these things, because you'll be able to address them later. And sometimes they'll get addressed without you even being aware of it. And if it's written down, you'll be able to pat yourself on the back as well and say, oh, yeah, that used to be a thing. And now it's not. Anyways, my brothers, my sisters, sending you so much love. And I look forward to connecting with you again really soon.